Commander Elena Martinez stood at the observation deck of the United Nations Aerospace Command Headquarters, watching as the massive Zirconian vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere. The alien craft defied conventional physics. No visible propulsion systems, no heat signature from entry, just a silent, graceful descent that made humanity's most advanced spacecraft look like children's toys. Nervous, General Williams asked, joining her at the window. Curious, Martins replied, adjusting her dress uniform. At 42, she was younger than most officers of her rank, but the Mars rescue mission had accelerated her career. Saving 37 colonists from a collapsing habitat dome had earned her both commendations and a reputation for unorthodox solutions. They specifically requested you, Williams said. Apparently, they've studied the Mars incident. They called it statistically anomalous. Martinez smiled. High praise. The alien vessel now hovered 300 meters above the United Nations Plaza. Its crystalline surface reflected the morning sunlight in prismatic patterns across the gathered crowd of diplomats, scientists, and military personnel. A circular opening appeared in its underside, and a smaller craft descended. Showtime, Martins whispered. 30 minutes later, she stood face to face with the first confirmed extraterrestrial intelligence humanity had ever encountered. The Zirconians were tall, the shortest standing over 2 meters, with humanoid bodies covered in what appeared to be crystalline exoskeletons that shifted colors with their movements. Their faces featured 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and when they spoke, their mouths didn't move. Instead, the crystals near their throat vibrated. Commander Martinez, the lead alien said, its voice perfectly rendered in English by a small device at its neck. I am diplomatic envoy Zar Tellen of the Zirconian hierarchy, representing the Galactic Confederation. We have observed your species for 73 years and deemed this the appropriate time for first contact. Martinez maintained her composure despite the revelation. We're honored by your presence, envoy Zar Tellen. Earth welcomes you and looks forward to peaceful exchange. The diplomatic reception proceeded with carefully choreographed precision. The Zirconians presented technological gifts, a portable energy generator that could power a small city, medical devices capable of curing several human diseases, and data crystals containing star charts of systems humans had only glimpsed through telescopes. During the formal dinner that followed, Martins noticed something curious. While the Zirconians handled complex scientific discussions with ease, they seemed confused by human social interactions. When the French ambassador told a joke, the aliens stared blankly. When the Japanese delegate used a poetic metaphor about bridges between worlds, the Zirconians requested clarification 3 times. Your species communicates inefficiently, Zar Tellen remarked to Martinez. You use approximately 273% more words than necessary to convey information. We find beauty in the journey, not just the destination. Martins replied. The alien tilted its head, an imprecise statement that proves my point. Later, when unexpected rain disrupted the outdoor demonstration of Zirconian technology, Martinez watched with interest as the aliens struggled to adapt. Their carefully planned presentation faltered until she suggested moving to the adjacent hangar. Your contingency planning is inadequate, Zar Tellen stated. Or perhaps we simply improvise better, Martins countered with a smile. That evening, in a secure briefing room, Martinez reported her observations to Earth's leadership. They're centuries beyond us technologically, she explained, but they seem to lack flexibility. Their thinking follows rigid patterns. When faced with unexpected variables, they hesitate while recalculating. A weakness? The Secretary General asked. Martinez considered this, perhaps, or simply a difference. They evolved differently, prioritizing different cognitive abilities. She brought up footage from the day's interactions. Notice how they follow protocols exactly, even when circumstances change. I believe they find our unpredictability unsettling. And their assessment of us? The Chinese premier inquired. Officially, They've invited Earth to join the Galactic Confederation as a developing member. Unofficially, Martines displayed an intercepted transmission their linguists had partially decoded. They've classified us as an interesting but underdeveloped species with concerning unpredictability metrics. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Martinez smiled. They think they're dealing with children. That gives us an advantage they don't even realize exists. 3 years after Earth joined the Galactic Confederation, the Ganymede colony faced catastrophe. The largest moon of Jupiter hosted 300 colonists in pressurized domes, mining valuable minerals that fetched premium prices in interstellar trade. When a massive solar flare overwhelmed the colony's shields, critical systems failed catastrophically. Atmospheric generators are down, Carlos Mendez, chief engineer, reported through static-filled communications. We're venting oxygen and taking in sulfur compounds from the surface. We have 4 hours before toxic levels become fatal. The emergency reached Confederation authorities, who dispatched their renowned Zirconian Crisis Response Unit. The alien team arrived at the Jupiter station within an hour, their advanced vessels making the journey in a fraction of the time human ships required. Commander Elena Martinez, stationed at the Jupiter monitoring post, watched as the Zirconian response captain analyzed the situation through holographic displays. The probability of successful intervention is 0.000367%. The alien announced, crystalline exoskeleton pulsing with somber blue light. Radiation levels prevent teleportation technology deployment. Atmospheric degradation is proceeding at an exponential rate. Protocol dictates documentation of the event for historical records. Martinez stared in disbelief. You're giving up. 300 people are dying down there. We are not giving up. The Zirconian replied. We are accepting statistical certainty. Your emotional response is understandable, but irrelevant to outcome probabilities. Martinez stormed out of the command center, mind racing. The Jupiter station housed an experimental transport vessel, the Hermes, designed for high-speed cargo delivery, but not yet cleared for human transport. Its engines could reach Ganymede in 40 minutes. I need volunteers, she announced over the station intercom. Unauthorized rescue mission. High probability of failure. Meet in Hangar 3 in 5 minutes if you're in. 17 people showed up. Engineers, pilots, medical staff. No one questioned her authority. The Hermes isn't rated for atmospheric entry, cautioned pilot Sasha Wong, a small woman with steady hands and a reputation for threading needles with spacecraft. Then we'll have to modify it, Martines replied. Carlos needs atmospheric scrubbers down there. We have equipment that can be repurposed. As they worked feverishly to prepare, the station commander arrived with 2 security officers. Martinez, this is mutiny. The Confederation experts have declared the situation unsalvageable. With respect, sir, they're not human. Martinez continued loading equipment. They calculate probabilities. We defy them. The commander hesitated, then dismissed the security team. I never saw you. The Hermes was stolen. Good luck, Commander. 47 minutes later, the Hermes entered Ganymede's thin atmosphere, buffeted by radiation and gravitational forces it wasn't designed to withstand. Wong executed what she later called a controlled crash, bringing them down 3 kilometers from the main colony dome. Radiation will fry our suits in 30 minutes, warned Dr. Esther Chen, checking the team's protective gear. Make it count. They crossed the icy surface, equipment in tow, fighting Jupiter's massive radiation and Ganymede's toxic atmosphere seeping through microfractures in their suits. Inside the colony, they found colonists already showing signs of sulfur poisoning. Martinez found Mendez barely conscious at his engineering station. Together, they repurposed mining filtration equipment to create makeshift atmospheric scrubbers, while other team members reinforced failing seals with specialized foam designed for spacecraft repairs. This violates 6 different engineering principles. Mendez coughed as they bypassed safety protocols. It shouldn't work. Tell that to the scrubbers, Martins replied as the air quality readings slowly improved. When Confederation vessels arrived 12 hours later, expecting to recover bodies, they instead found all 300 colonists alive. Martinez's team had suffered radiation exposure and chemical burns, but emergency medical treatment saved them all. The Zirconian Crisis Response Captain observed the aftermath with its 4 eyes blinking in asynchronous patterns, a sign of extreme confusion in their species. "You altered probability," it stated. "Our calculations were correct. Your success was impossible." Martinez, being treated for radiation burns, smiled through cracked lips. "You might want to update your calculations to account for human stubbornness. We don't accept impossibility when our people are at stake." The incident sent shockwaves through the Confederation. Within weeks, the Zirconian hierarchy requested access to human neural mapping data, suddenly interested in how a developing species could succeed where their experts had calculated certain failure. The discovery of rare quadlithium crystals in the Proxima Centauri system sparked an immediate diplomatic crisis. 7 Confederation species claimed mining rights based on historical surveys, proximity to established territories, or ancient star charts predating modern galactic cartography. According to Confederation protocol, such disputes typically required decades of deliberation, with each party presenting exhaustive documentation of their claims. Earth, as the newest member of the Confederation, had no historical claim to the system. Yet the United Earth government recognized the strategic importance of quadlithium. The crystals could revolutionize human propulsion technology, potentially reducing interstellar travel time by 70%. "We need representation at those negotiations," President Okafor insisted during an emergency cabinet meeting, "even if our claim is weakest." "I have someone in mind," Commander Martinez suggested. "Not a traditional diplomat, but someone who understands strategic positioning better than anyone I know." 3 weeks later, Jackson Chen stepped off the transport at Arcturus Station, the massive space habitat where the Proxima Centauri negotiations would take place. At 36, Chen had an unusual resume: former professional poker player, game theory specialist, and one of the few humans who had mastered 7 different alien languages. His appointment as Earth's special envoy had raised eyebrows throughout diplomatic circles. Ambassador Chen, a Vespian aide, buzzed, multifaceted eyes reflecting Chen's image. The preliminary session begins in 30 minutes. The Zirconian delegation does not expect Earth's participation to extend beyond observation status. Chen smiled. "Let's see if we can surprise them." The negotiation chamber featured a circular table with representatives from all claiming species: the crystalline Zirconians, the Ursine Arcturians, the insectoid Vespians, the aquatic Hydrolians, the gaseous Nebulans, the silicon-based Geodians, and the plant-like Chlorins. Chen took Earth's designated seat, notably smaller than the others. Before proceedings begin according to Article 7290.3.1 of the Confederation Charter, the Zirconian chief negotiator announced, "I must note that Earth's claim is fundamentally without precedent or supporting documentation." Chen nodded agreeably. "That's accurate. We have no historical claim whatsoever." He paused as murmurs circulated through translator devices. "Which is why I'm proposing an alternative approach to resolving this matter." The Zirconian's crystalline features shifted to a deep purple, a sign of confusion. "The Charter specifies the procedural requirements, which will take approximately 27 years to complete," Chen interrupted politely, "during which time the quadlithium remains unmined, benefiting no one." He placed a small wooden box on the table. "On Earth, we have traditions for resolving complex disputes more efficiently." From the box, Chen removed a deck of cards, a chess set, and stones for the ancient game of Go. Strategic games that test not just computational ability, but adaptability, foresight, and psychology. "Games of chance," the Arcturian representative growled. "We do not gamble with resource rights." "Not chance," Chen corrected. "Skill. Each species selects a representative. We compete in tournament format. The winner receives primary mining rights, with secondary access granted based on finishing position. The chamber erupted in overlapping translator voices. The Zirconian negotiator's exoskeleton pulsed with rapid color changes reflecting agitation. This proposal violates 17 different procedural statutes. Yet nothing prohibits mutual agreement to alternative resolution methods, Chen noted calmly, and it would resolve in 1 week what would otherwise take decades. The Hydrolian ambassador, speaking through a water-filled translation sphere, burbled agreement. The human's proposal is unorthodox but efficient. My species supports this approach. One by one, the other representatives concurred, some enthusiastically, others reluctantly. The Zirconians agreed last, confident in their species' computational superiority. The tournament began the following day. The Zirconians selected their finest strategic analyst, a crystalline being with perfect recall and the ability to calculate probabilities to 12 decimal places. The other species chose their champions with similar confidence. Chen started with poker. The Zirconian easily calculated card probabilities but seemed bewildered by Chen's bluffs and psychological misdirection. In chess, Chen sacrificed pieces in moves that seemed irrational until his endgame strategy became clear. During the Go competition, he employed tactics that prioritized long-term position over immediate territory gains. By the tournament's end, Earth had secured primary mining rights, with secondary access granted to the Hydrolians and Arcturians. As the delegations prepared to depart, the Zirconian champion approached Chen. Your strategies defied optimal play patterns, it stated. You made objectively suboptimal moves that nevertheless resulted in victory. Chen smiled. That's the human advantage. You play the game. We play the players. The Galactic Science Academy on Arcturus Prime represented the pinnacle of Confederation intellectual achievement. For 12,000 years, the most brilliant minds from across known space had gathered in its crystalline towers to solve the universe's greatest mysteries. Dr. Kwame Osei led the first human research team granted access to this hallowed institution, a concession following Earth's surprising diplomatic victories. The subspace integration paradox, explained Academy Director Zintalan, a venerable Zirconian whose crystalline exoskeleton had faded to pale blue with age. Considered formally unsolvable since the Third Epoch, 18 species have attempted solutions. All have failed. The director gestured toward a holographic equation hovering in the center of the orientation chamber. Spanning nearly 6 meters, the mathematical monstrosity contained symbols from a dozen different numerical systems, representing relationships between dimensions that human mathematics had only begun to theorize. We're honored by the opportunity, Dr. Osei replied diplomatically. His team, 6 specialists in physics, mathematics, and computational theory, examined the equation with expressions ranging from awe to confusion. You have access to all Academy resources, the director continued. Standard protocol allocates 3 years for new approaches before declaring formal abandonment. After the director departed, Dr. Maya Patel, the team's theoretical physicist, exhaled sharply. 3 years? We'd need 30 just to understand all these symbolic systems. Dr. Osei studied the equation thoughtfully. Then we won't approach it conventionally. In the following days, Academy observers noted with puzzlement the humans' unorthodox methodology. Rather than using the advanced computational systems available to them, they created physical models, 3-dimensional representations of mathematical concepts using colored string, floating holographic balls, and transparent sheets marked with equations. They're making pictures, one Vespian researcher buzzed disapprovingly to another. Like larvae in primary education. Dr. Osei encouraged his team to approach the problem from wildly different angles. They created analogies, told stories, even composed music representing mathematical relationships. Dr. Patel programmed a virtual reality simulation, allowing them to walk through different sections of the equation. Dr. Luis Santiago, a topological mathematician, built physical models he could manipulate with his hands. Mathematics isn't just symbols, Osei explained to the increasingly interested alien observers. It's patterns we can experience through multiple senses. On the 23rd day, Dr. Patil awoke from a dream about ocean waves. She rushed to the laboratory at 3 a.m, Earth Standard Time. The equation isn't about subspace at all, she announced to Dr. Osei when he arrived hours later. It's about wave propagation through multidimensional mediums, like sound through water, but across 11 dimensions simultaneously. This conceptual breakthrough allowed the team to reframe the entire problem. Using visual thinking and intuitive leaps that the Academy's traditional approaches had never considered, they mapped correlations between subspace fluctuations and wave dynamics in conventional physics. 47 days after beginning their work, Dr. Osei presented their solution to the Academy Council. The chamber fell silent as the most brilliant minds in the galaxy processed what they were seeing. "This is correct," the Academy director finally stated, crystalline features shifting through colors representing disbelief, confusion, and reluctant acceptance. "You've solved what 18 species could not in 12 millennia. We approached it differently," Dr. Osei explained. "Instead of seeing the equation as a problem to compute, we saw it as a pattern to understand." The implications extended far beyond mathematics. Within weeks, Admiral Martinez, formerly commander, received reports that the Zirconian High Command had upgraded humanity's threat assessment. During joint military exercises, human vessels consistently outmaneuvered technologically superior ships through unpredictable tactical patterns that defied conventional strategic analysis. "They don't think like we do," a Zirconian tactical officer reported to its superiors. "Their neural pathways follow associative rather than linear progression. They perceive connections where none logically exist, enabling conceptual leaps we cannot predict." In a secure chamber on the Zirconian homeworld, the High Strategic Council reviewed holographic models of human brain activity. The swirling patterns of neural connections appeared chaotic compared to the ordered networks of most intelligent species. "Beauty in chaos," the eldest council member observed, "perhaps the most dangerous adaptation we have yet encountered." The Nephiran plague began in the crowded spaceports of Centaurus Prime. Within days, it spread to 17 systems, striking down members of every Confederation species. Traditional medical protocols failed as the disease mutated faster than treatment could be developed. Death tolls climbed into the millions. Dr. Sophia Rise, a human immunologist studying alien biology at the Centaurus Medical Academy, noticed something peculiar. While aliens fell ill at alarming rates, the human personnel remained largely unaffected. Initial scans revealed trace amounts of the pathogen in human bloodstreams, yet their immune systems neutralized it before symptoms developed. "It's not that we're immune," Dr. Rice explained to the Confederation Medical Council, a gathering of the galaxy's foremost medical minds. "Our immune systems simply adapt faster than the pathogen can evolve." The council chamber, designed to accommodate diverse physiologies, had been hastily converted for emergency response. Holographic displays tracked the plague's spread across populated systems. The chief medical officer, a Hydrolian suspended in a medical tank of bluish fluid, bubbled incredulously. "Impossible. The Nephiran agent reconfigures its protein structure every 7.4 hours. No known immune system can match this adaptation rate." Dr. Rice displayed microscopic footage of human white blood cells attacking the pathogen. Earth's biological diversity created unique evolutionary pressures. Our immune systems co-evolved with thousands of rapidly mutating viruses and bacteria. We developed robust adaptive immunity as a result. The Council reluctantly authorized human intervention. Within hours, volunteer medical teams departed Earth for affected worlds, establishing research outposts in plague hotspots. Dr. Rice led the primary team on Centaurus Prime, working to develop treatments based on modified human antibodies. "Your species evolved on a remarkably hostile world," observed Zintalik, a Zirconian immunologist assisting the human teams. The alien's crystalline exoskeleton had dulled from overwork. Most spacefaring species arose on planets with significantly less pathogenic diversity. Earth tried to kill us many times, Dr. Reyes replied, not looking up from her microscope. We got stronger each time. When the first treatment protocols proved effective, the Confederation Medical Council formally acknowledged humanity's biological resilience as an unexpected evolutionary advantage. The death toll stabilized, then declined as human-derived therapies spread throughout affected systems. Meanwhile, human colonial expansion continued at unprecedented rates. On the high-gravity world of Titan Nova, colonists adapted physiologically within a single generation. Children born on the planet developed denser bone structures and more efficient cardiovascular systems than their Earth-born parents, adaptations that would have taken other species centuries of genetic engineering to achieve. On the desert planet Kepler 186f, human colonists created innovative water collection systems rather than importing water as other species did. They modified terrestrial plants to survive in the harsh environment instead of terraforming the landscape to match Earth conditions. A Confederation census report, marked for High Council access only, noted with concern, human adaptation and expansion occurs at 5.7 times the rate of any previously documented species. Within 3 centuries, they may establish presence in all habitable systems of the Orion Arm. Admiral Martinez received the classified report from a sympathetic Arcturian official. She shared it with President Okafor during a secure briefing at the newly established Confederation Embassy on Earth. "They're afraid of us," the president observed. "With good reason," Martins replied. "We're the universe's ultimate survivors. We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us daily, developed immune systems that fight off plagues that devastate other species, and adapt to environments that should be lethal." "Is conflict inevitable?" the president asked. Martinez considered this question carefully. "Not inevitable, but we need to be prepared. Some factions will see our growth as a threat requiring containment. Others will recognize the value of our unique resilience." Outside the embassy windows, Earth's gleaming cities stretched toward the horizon, a monument to humanity's tenacity. Beyond the blue sky, human ships departed daily for the stars, carrying the seeds of colonies that would take root and flourish where other species struggle to survive. "We're not conquerors," Martinez said, "but we are survivors. The galaxy is just beginning to understand what that means." Human influence grew rapidly throughout the Confederation, causing increasing concern among established powers. The Zirconian Directorate, alarmed by humanity's unprecedented expansion rate, initiated Operation Containment during a closed session of their High Strategic Council. "Their adaptability poses an existential question," stated High Director Zarkellen, descendant of the diplomat who first contacted Earth. "If unchecked, human expansion will alter the fundamental balance of the Confederation within 3 centuries." The operation began subtly: economic sanctions disguised as regulatory adjustments, diplomatic isolation through procedural technicalities, and carefully orchestrated accidents at human outposts. The New Horizon colony, humanity's farthest settlement, experienced a series of mysterious equipment failures, resulting in 37 deaths when life support systems faltered. Lieutenant Commander Aisha Okoro, a military intelligence officer assigned to New Horizon, noticed microscopic crystalline fragments in the damaged equipment, fragments matching Zirconian technology signatures. Her report reached Admiral Martinez through secure channels. "They're moving against us," Martinez informed Ambassador Chen during an encrypted meeting in the Earth Embassy on Arcturus Prime. "Not just the Zirconians. Our intelligence suggests at least 3 elder species are coordinating efforts to contain human expansion." Chen studied the evidence thoughtfully. Direct confrontation would be disastrous. "We're outnumbered and outgunned." "Then we fight differently," Martinez replied. "We fight invisibly." Instead of filing formal complaints or escalating to military action, Martinez and Chen deployed a sophisticated counterintelligence operation. Using misinformation, strategic leaks, and targeted diplomacy, They began turning the conspirators against each other. Chen exploited cultural differences between Confederation species, creating distrust where alliance once existed. During a diplomatic reception on the Arcturian homeworld, he casually mentioned to an Arcturian minister that the Zirconians considered them biologically unpredictable and strategically unreliable. Meanwhile, Martinez's intelligence team fabricated evidence suggesting the Vespians planned to claim contested territories once humans were contained. Divide and conquer, Chen explained to his diplomatic staff. An ancient human strategy the Confederation has never encountered. The Zirconians, masters of direct logical confrontation, found themselves ill-equipped to counter psychological warfare. When Arcturian representatives abruptly withdrew from joint operations, the Zirconians assumed a data breach rather than human manipulation. Their attempts to reassure their allies only deepened suspicions that Chen had carefully cultivated. Lieutenant Commander Okoro led a small team that infiltrated a Zirconian communication relay, disguised as maintenance workers. They inserted subtle alterations in diplomatic transmissions, not changing content, but adjusting tonal modifiers that carried essential emotional context for many species. They communicate with perfect logic, Okoro reported, but they never consider that the medium itself might be compromised. The anti-human coalition began fracturing from within. The Vespians accused the Zirconians of planning territorial annexation. The Arcturians suspended intelligence sharing. The Jodians withdrew from the containment operation entirely, claiming ethical concerns. 6 months after Operation Containment began, Admiral Martinez presented evidence of the conspiracy to the Confederation Council. The carefully edited information revealed enough to prove illegal actions against human colonies while concealing humanity's counter-operations. "We seek no retribution," Martinez stated diplomatically. "Only acknowledgement of these violations and assurance they will not continue." The Council had no choice but to censure the implicated species. The Zirconian High Director was removed from office, a historic first in their rigidly hierarchical society. Ambassador Chen negotiated favorable trade agreements with previously hostile species, now eager to demonstrate goodwill toward humanity. "They defeated us without firing a single shot," the former High Director admitted to his successor. "They manipulated perception itself, a form of warfare we had not imagined possible." In a secure briefing room on Earth, President Okafor reviewed the operation results with Martinez and Chen. "The Confederation has always understood physical and technological power," Chen observed. "They never prepared for psychological warfare." "And now?" the President asked. Martinez smiled. "Now they fear what they don't understand. The invisible power of human thinking may be the most formidable force in the galaxy." The dead world of Prometheus orbited a fading red dwarf star at the edge of explored space. Ancient ruins covered its surface, remnants of a civilization that predated the Confederation itself. For millennia, archaeologists from various species had studied these ruins, seeking insights into the mysterious precursors who supposedly seeded intelligent life throughout the galaxy before vanishing without explanation. Dr. Kwame Osei led the first human archaeological expedition to Prometheus, bringing a multidisciplinary team that included linguists, anthropologists, geneticists, and Jamie Chen, Ambassador Chen's cousin, and a recognized savant with pattern recognition abilities far exceeding neurotypical humans. Previous expeditions focused on individual structures and artifacts. Dr. Osei explained during their initial survey. "We'll approach this differently. We'll examine the ruins as an interconnected system, a cultural expression rather than isolated elements." The Central Archive Chamber had frustrated researchers for centuries. Its walls featured intricate symbols arranged in spiraling patterns that defied conventional translation methods. Confederation archaeology classified the writings as ceremonial or decorative rather than informational after countless failed interpretation attempts. Jamie Chen spent days silently observing the patterns, his fingers tracing invisible connections in the air. On the 7th day, he turned to Dr. Osei with wide eyes. "It's not writing," he said. Its code. Biological code. This insight led the team to develop pattern recognition software based on Jamie's unique neural processing. They discovered the symbols represented genetic sequences, blueprints for engineering intelligent species with specific traits. Dr. Alicia Wong, the team's geneticist, compared these sequences to DNA samples from Confederation species. The match is undeniable, she reported, displaying comparison charts. The Zirconians were engineered for logical processing and administrative functions, the Arcturians for engineering and construction, the Vespians for resource gathering and colonization. They designed specialized species for specific roles, Dr. Osai realized, like creating living tools. Further translations revealed the precursor's grand plan, a galactic society where each engineered species performed designated functions with perfect efficiency. Yet the plan remained incomplete when the precursors vanished approximately 15,000 years ago, leaving their created species to develop independently. Dr. Wong compared human DNA to the precursor templates. No match, she confirmed. Earth evolved in a region the precursors never visited. We developed through natural selection rather than engineering. The implications were profound. Every Confederation species had been designed with specific capabilities and inherent limitations, their potential predetermined by their creators. Humans alone had evolved without external constraints, shaped only by Earth's unique environmental pressures. Dr. Osai presented these findings to the Confederation Archaeological Council. The chamber fell silent as the assembled scholars processed the revelation. This explains much about human cognitive architecture, stated the Zirconian archival director, crystalline features pulsing with agitation. Your neural pathways follow no recognizable template. Your genetic code contains redundancies and apparent inefficiencies that our species lack. What you call inefficiency, we call adaptability, Dr. Osai replied. Our chaotic genetics give us the freedom to become more than our original design. As this knowledge spread through Confederation space, reactions varied dramatically. Many species viewed humans with newfound fascination or envy, the only truly wild intelligence in known space, unconstrained by predetermined limitations. Others reacted with fear, seeing humanity as an unpredictable variable in the precursor's meticulously planned cosmic order. The philosophical impact reshaped galactic culture. Species began questioning their predetermined roles, with some attempting to transcend their engineered limitations through technology or genetic modification. Wild thinking became a valued trait, with human consultants sought for problem-solving across the Confederation. In a private message to Admiral Martinez, Dr. Osei summarized the expedition's most profound discovery. We now understand why humans think differently. The question isn't why we're adaptable. It's why they aren't. The precursors designed specialized tools, not generalists. They engineered perfection at the cost of potential. Humanity's greatest strength is that we were never perfected. The first attack came without warning. The Ophiuchus colony world, home to 17 million Confederation citizens of various species, went silent. When investigation ships arrived, they found only a barren planet orbiting a dying star that had aged 1 billion years in a matter of days. 2 more systems fell within a week, stars collapsing into themselves, planets reduced to lifeless husks. Long-range sensors detected crystalline entities moving between the stars, absorbing stellar energy directly and leaving destruction in their wake. The Confederation Council convened an emergency session. High Director Zin Relin of the Zirconians displayed the devastating footage. We designate these entities Star Eaters. Their composition suggests existence partially in higher dimensions, making conventional weapons ineffective. Simulations indicate they will reach core Confederation worlds within 60 days. Conventional defensive strategies failed. Zirconian logic engines calculated a 97.3% probability of civilization collapse within 1 year. Vespian hive coordinators proposed sacrificing outer colonies to defend core worlds. Arcturian war planners recommended concentration of forces at strategic choke points. In an unprecedented move, The Council unanimously voted to appoint Admiral Elena Martinez as Supreme Commander of the United Defense Forces. "You want me to lead?" Martinez asked, studying the desperate faces around the council chamber. "After centuries of containing human influence, your species thinks differently," replied the Zirconian High Director. "Our design minds cannot conceive solutions to this threat. We need unpredictability." Martinez accepted with a single condition: complete operational freedom. The council agreed without hesitation. Within hours, Martinez implemented a revolutionary strategy, creating specialized task forces that combined the unique abilities of each species under human coordination. Dr. Osi's team developed adaptive technology that evolved in response to the Star Eaters' attacks, while Ambassador Chen formed coalitions between previously hostile species. "We fight as one," Martinez announced to the combined fleet. "Each species brings unique strengths. Together, we become something greater than our individual designs." The final confrontation occurred in the Orion Spur, where a human-led armada confronted the Star Eater swarm. When conventional weapons failed, Martinez authorized Operation Prometheus, an experimental approach using modified subspace field generators to trap the entities between dimensions. Lieutenant Commander Okoro led the critical deployment team aboard the flagship Resilience. "The mathematics are theoretical," she warned Martinez over the command channel. "Dr. Osi's team believes this will create a resonance field that disrupts the entity's multidimensional structure, but we can't be certain." "Certainty is overrated," Martinez replied. "Humanity thrives on calculated risk." The deployment ships moved into position, human vessels piloted with intuitive precision rather than programmed efficiency. As the Star Eaters converged on a dying sun, the subspace generators activated simultaneously. Space itself seemed to fold, creating a dimensional pocket that trapped the crystalline entities. "Field stabilizing," Okoro reported, her voice tight with concentration. "Dimensional resonance at 94% and holding." The victory came at great cost. 3 deployment vessels were lost with all hands, and the flagship Resilience suffered catastrophic damage. Yet the Star Eaters were contained, trapped in a pocket dimension, where they could feed only on carefully managed energy sources. In the aftermath, a new galactic order emerged with humans serving as connectors between specialized species. The Confederation underwent fundamental restructuring, with integration and adaptation prioritized over rigid specialization. 1 month after the battle, Martinez visited a memorial service for those lost in the conflict. There she found Zinrelin, the Zirconian High Director, contemplating a monument bearing names of fallen heroes from every species. "I have studied your history," the Zirconian said. "For millennia, we viewed specialization as the pinnacle of evolution. Yet your chaotic development produced something we designed species can barely comprehend: adaptability without limit." Martinez watched as representatives from a dozen worlds placed remembrance tokens at the memorial. "The precursors engineered specialized tools for a controlled universe," she observed. "But the universe isn't controllable. It's chaotic, dangerous, and constantly changing. And in such a universe," the High Director concluded, crystalline features shifting to a color of deep respect, "the ultimate advantage belongs to those who evolve to embrace chaos itself. This is why humans will always be the most powerful species in space. Not because you were designed for perfection, but because you design yourselves for whatever the cosmos demands."